Hey, happy Friday, Raider Nation. Are you ready for the weekend? Are you ready for Raiders football on Sunday? They host the Minnesota Vikings in week number 1 of the NFL preseason in 2022 at the Death Star. And they will have a full house, I'm sure, even though it is the preseason. We're excited to be back with you, Scott Branson and Mo Moten. We are the hosts of Silver and Black Today, an Odyssey original podcast, and we appreciate you guys being with us. Do us a favor, make sure you subscribe if you already haven't done that, and give us a 5-star rating. That really helps us. All the guys in the suits who sell the show, the salespeople at Odyssey, the big old company, if you give us 5 stars, then they think we're pretty cool. So do that, and that'll help us significantly, especially when Mo's got to always just tag me along and do that. Mo, well, here we are. I mean, we had a show yesterday on Thursday. Now we're back on Friday to do our first Q&A show. Are you excited to answer questions for Raider Nation?
Yeah, because people have been screaming at me and saying, hey, you missed my question on Twitter. I'm sorry. I don't get to see all the responses in my mentions. It happens that way sometimes for me. Sometimes I don't see everything. So if you send your questions to our email, Scott will provide that. I can answer your questions personally on video so you can get the direct response. You get the direct attention that you want.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll do that, and we want to do this every week, and then we'll do special shows too. The Raiders make a move. They trade for Roquan Smith. Oh, sorry, no, it's not going to happen. You know what I'm talking about. If you listen to the last show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, we will answer your questions, and again, all you have to do is send an email to mail@silverandblacktoday.com. Make sure you put in your question. Make sure you put in your address, because all the questions we read today on the show, by the way, we will be sending you some swag. It's a sticker, a show sticker, and then one question every week we will select, and we will send you a show t-shirt. Mo doesn't even have a show t-shirt yet. A new one.
Yeah, a new one. Maybe you'll get a shirt like this.
It's coming. And by the way, for those who watch on video, you see my mic flag? One of these is coming to you too, Mo. We're official. Odyssey treats us well. See, we got this whole shiny new mic flag.
When you give us 5 stars, we get new merch, we get new things, we get new things here and there. So we dress it up for you as you support us. So
they let us out of our room if you do that. We're kind of captive unless you give us 5-star ratings. So please do that. And in my case, I'm in my basement studio. So please, I want to go upstairs. Thank you. All right.
I'm in a broom closet, by the way. That's why I started.
A broom closet somewhere in New York City. All right. So we are going to jump in, and we got questions from all over the world, Mo, not just the country, because we know Raider Nation is worldwide. What's that famous song?
True.
Worldwide. Okay. So here we go. First question comes from Jesse C. Lee in Kentucky. Now, Jesse is very interactive with us on Twitter and with the show on Twitter, so I know who he is. And so we're going to get to his question first. Okay, so here it is, Mo. He says, and we talked about this a little bit on yesterday's show. He said, we haven't seen a whole lot of buzz around linebackers. I suspect Divine Diablo will be a major contributor, but who are the front runners for the other linebacker positions? We know Perryman, obviously, Mo, but what's your take on those other linebacker position? Who sticks on this roster? Who might we see more of as the preseason goes along?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Denzel Perryman, and I think Jayon Brown and Divine Diablo are going to split snaps as the second linebacker when the Raiders are in nickel. So when the Raiders have 2 linebackers on the field, it'll either be Jayon Brown or Divine Diablo. I think Jayon Brown has the upper hand there because he has the experience coming over from the Titans, so he's been a starter before, whereas Divine Diablo took over last year, I believe in December, when the Raiders kind of moved on, or should I say benched Corey Littleton and moved on from Nick Kwiatkowski. So I think it's going to be more Denzel Perryman, Jayon Brown, Divine Diablo, and then my guy Darren Waller. I know you're wearing the Forks Up Arizona State cap. Darren Waller is my guy to sneak onto the roster and get significant snaps at linebackers. I think he'll be able to play on all 3 downs. Now, I know the Raiders also have Kenny Young, but Kenny Young hasn't been involved too much on special teams, and that could work against him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'm glad that you brought up those guys, because to me, Jayon Brown, he's listed number 1 in the depth chart, which I know doesn't mean anything right now, but a significant player and someone that I really liked when they signed. And I expect things out of that veteran presence, that experience really big on that young defense. So a good deal. So Jesse, thank you so much for your question. You get a sticker. We'll see if you get the t-shirt here in a few minutes. All right. Our second question, Mo, comes from Dre up in the Bay Area. Dre says, I'm getting worried about the lack of discussion around Darren Waller. He's not practicing, and after his injury last year, he needs to get in shape. Any concerns for both you guys? Mo, I'll let you go first.
I wouldn't have any concerns about Darren Waller until he becomes questionable before week 1. We already know what Darren Waller can do. He has the Raiders franchise record in catches. He's basically going to be their number 1 or number 2 target alongside Devontae Adams, maybe number 3 behind Hunter Renfrow in some games. But I'm not particularly worried. He may be, I don't want to say milking his injury, but he may be preserving himself as he's waiting also for a new contract deal. So that may be part of it. Not to say he's holding in. There's a lot of players have been doing this offseason. A lot of players have been coming to practice, but not practicing in all the drills because they want a new deal. I don't think that's the case with Darren Waller. I got Darren Butler on the mind today. But anyway,
it's my hat. I think it's hypnotizing.
Yeah, it's hypnotizing. Definitely hypnotizing. But I'm not worried about Darren Waller yet. Until we're after the preseason and we're going up to week 1. If he's still questionable, not practicing at all, then I would worry. But I mean, it's mid-August right now. No reason to worry yet.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. Look, the contract stuff I think is sticking in people's heads, and so. Yeah. I think they're getting more worried about that, where Darren Waller was very clear as camp was getting started that, look, I'm letting my agent take care of that. So for him, and Darren Waller's an upfront guy, what he's been through in his life, how he turned his life around, I don't think he's going to say something he doesn't mean. Okay? So I think that if you're the Raiders, just like with Derek, not playing Derek Carr, I know Derek's practicing, but I think with Darren Waller coming off the injury and everything, why do it? It's not worth it. Now, you might then say, well, then why are they running Josh Jacobs? Well, Josh Jacobs isn't coming off the same thing. He's not Darren Waller. He's not about to get another big deal from this team because he will get the deal. It's just going to take some time, probably come in the offseason next year or maybe during this season if they can get it together and defer it or something like that. But I wouldn't worry about it yet. But I understand you're excited, Dre. Everybody wants to know Darren Waller's out on the field and catching balls and making moves and all that stuff. So I get that, but I wouldn't worry about it. And I'm with Mo. If he's listed as questionable for week 1, then I would worry. So good question, Dre. I appreciate you sending that in. Thanks for listening or watching as well. All right, then we go down to Los Angeles now. Where In-N-Out was founded, by the way, if you watched the last show. This is Rick. Rick in Los Angeles says, lost in all this talk about right tackle and cornerbacks on the defense is the defensive front. Nichols was out and others were out as well, but your rush can't just be the edge. Who are the 2 key players on the inside that you pick to click? And this question was directly for you, Mo. And we talked about it on yesterday's show, but Mo, tell Rick in LA, if you're going to pick 2 guys you think emerge or are key to that defensive front, who is it?
For me, it's got to be Bilal Nichols when he comes back from the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list. There was a report, I believe, Vinny Bonsignore of the Las Vegas Review-Journal said that Bilal Nichols could be close to coming back. He's a guy that they paid early in free agency, so I expect him to get a lot of snaps. Matthew Butler talked about last week's show, the last show. I think he's going to pop right away simply because he's played in a varied front at Tennessee. So he's used to playing in different personnel groupings and lining up and down on a defensive line. So I think those 2 guys are going to be guys who can play on all 3 downs. I'm not going to say Neil Farrell because I think he's more of a run stuffer than a pass rusher. And as you just said in your question, you're absolutely right. You need some interior pocket pressure, not just guys on the outside, but guys who could push the pocket on the inside. And I think Bilal Nichols and Matthew Butler are 2 guys who can do that.
No question. And I think too, I think Nichols, if Nichols can't get healthy, or if he plays and he's not 100% healthy, and he gets a slow start, I think that's a problem for them. And to your point, you said on yesterday's show, Mo, that maybe they get some help at the edge, or maybe they even get some help in the middle, whether it's free agent, whether it's trade, whatever it is. As they get later into camp / preseason, you start to get concerned, and then that's when Ziegler goes into action and starts to look for bodies if they have to.
But to that person, the question is a great question because the Raiders also tried out Danny Shelton, defensive tackle,
Yep.
or no, I should say nose tackle. He signed with the Chiefs, though. So the Raiders obviously feel like they can strengthen their defensive line. So your concern is warranted, is a legit concern there that if these guys don't come back healthy, and I'm talking about Jonathan Hankins and Bilal Nichols, they're going to need some veteran insurance there. So they may try out another defensive tackle, nose tackle before the preseason ends. But again, if those guys don't come back, you want to know who could step up. And I think if it should be Bilal Nichols and it could be Matthew Butler.
Yes. Butler was impressive in his press conference, by the way, and the conversation he had with the media. If you haven't watched that, I would suggest you do it. Okay, now we're going all the way around the world, and we got to say Semper Fi. We're going to Kuwait for this next question, Mo. Kuwait, Middle East.
Salute.
Corporal Raider. He's in the Marine Corps. He's an E4. If you're a corporal, you're an E4, by the way. That's pay scale. So he's out in the desert listening to the podcast. Thank you, man. That's so incredible. I love when I hear from our men and women in the military. He says, what you're doing. Yes, absolutely. He says, I've been reading 49er fans are going to attempt to take over Allegiant Stadium when the 49ers play the Raiders. By the way, that's on New Year's Day, next to the last week of the season. What can be done to make sure the Death Star stays silver and black on New Year's Day 2023? Mo, I saw this too, actually, and I got this question a couple days ago, and I read it. I was like, what's he talking about? And then I saw a story. I saw some 49er fans, because some Sports Not coverage where you write, and I also contribute writing and video. I saw 49er fans talking about how they were trying to gather. So what are Raider fans going to do to make sure, as they call them, the 40 whiners, don't take over Allegiant Stadium on New Year's Day with hangovers?
Don't sell your tickets. So support Raider Dad. He's bringing families to games this season. Yes. So yeah, just make sure you go to that game. If you plan on, don't reschedule. If you're planning on going to the game, go to the game. And if you're not going to go, don't sell your tickets to some random. Give it to another Raider fan and make sure they go to the game, because we cannot have the 49ers and their fans take over Allegiant Stadium.
Can you imagine if it was all red and gold inside the Death? I mean, there's no way Raider Nation lets that happen. That's like them allowing Charger fans to come in. They're just not going to let it happen. It's just not going to happen.
But I just don't see it. I just don't see it happen, because the Raiders should be ultra competitive this season anyway. So why would the fans not want to go to that game
on New Year's Day? Now, I will tell you, if you're a Raider fan with season tickets and you live out of town, or you're a fan going to buy tickets for that game, the old Bay Area rivalry, and you want to see it, book your hotel like now, because it's New Year's Eve. So you might be staying in Barstow if you don't book your hotel now, because it's New Year's Eve and there's 350,000 people in the city extra. So make sure you do it. But I thought Corporal Raider, and he sent me another part of the note as well, just telling us how listening to the show and other Raider content keeps him going out there. So just key. And again, thank you to our men and women who serve. No question. What you guys do is amazing. But yeah, so you guys can't sell. But here's the thing, Mo. I know a couple listeners who are PSL holders and they're season ticket holders. They can't make it because they live in different parts of the country. They can't make it to all the games, and they're trying to recoup their investments. So they sell tickets. They do, and they don't feel bad about it. They sell tickets to certain games. And this one, my only concern, even though I don't think Raider Nation will let it happen, my only little sliver of concern is that it's New Year's Day. It's a holiday. And knowing hotels are going to be nuts. I mean, a crappy hotel is going to cost you probably $500 a night, right? So get like 50 people in one room to reduce the cost. The hotels are like, damn him. But yeah, so I don't think Raider Nation will let it happen, especially because they know now by watching the chatter and listening to the show what's going on. I just don't think it's going to happen. So
do you honestly think the Raiders fans will let 49ers fans do that?
No. Again, I think there's a couple teams, any of the AFC West teams or the 49ers.
Yeah, like
maybe even now the Patriots play late in the season too in Vegas. So
That's
I don't
true.
think they're going to let the Patriots take over either. All the chowderheads from the Northeast. So anyway, but Corporal Raider, thank you so much for that question from Kuwait. All right, then we go to Chris in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is an increasingly Raider town, by the way, because of the regional 500 miles from Las Vegas, more and more, and they market up there heavily, by the way, and the games are up there on TV, so they're starting to get more fans up there. Of course, the former home of Todd Christensen as well. So here's what Chris asked: what do you guys think of the Raiders' new play-by-play guy, Jason Horowitz? He's a bit too generic for me. P.S. Tell Mo mint chip ice cream is the bomb. I didn't write it. He wrote it.
Now for that last comment, I may have to just disagree with you and just say keep Horowitz on now, because I don't know about your judgment on ice cream. Now, if you can't judge ice cream correctly, how do I expect
He gets the t-shirt.
How do I expect you to judge anything else if you can't judge ice cream correctly and you eat mint chip ice cream? Come on now. You want to tell you talk about bland and generic, and then you say I love mint chip ice cream. It's like, come on now.
He's got taste when it comes. He's got taste when it comes to ice cream.
So this is Chris, right?
This is Chris in Salt Lake.
Chris in Salt Lake. Do you like to brush your teeth and swallow toothpaste? Because that's basically what you're doing every time you have mint chip ice cream.
By the way, so for just in case we have new listeners this week, Mo thinks that mint chocolate chip ice cream is trash. It tastes like toothpaste. That you don't eat mint stuff. And then he had tweeted he was out for some coffee gelato. He actually had a rare few hours off the other day, and he was enjoying himself. And he had some coffee. And I then said, coffee is for drinking, not for frozen concoctions. So we have had this back and forth. So Chris obviously is a regular listener of the show, and so he brought that up
to Chris.
Good out to him. But he said, so Josh Horowitz, have you heard him, Mo?
I actually haven't heard him.
You have.
I'll listen to. I will listen to him after. But if you've heard,
so I heard him, and I will tell you this, Chris, and I'll say this gingerly, and that is, give the dude a shot. Like, he's very good. He's very good. He did college football. He did a lot of different sports. But remember, he's new to you, and he's new to the Raiders. This is his first NFL gig. He's got all the experience. He can do it just fine. So I listened to him and really like him. I like that it's a young voice. No offense to Brent Musburger, who's a legend. He's a GOAT, no question. But when it comes to a young broadcaster coming in and kind of freshening things up, he works. So far, it's been one game, and we talked last show about giving players time to kind of work in. Yes. Give him time too, because he's very good technically. He's learning the team. He's learning all that stuff. But I enjoy him, and he'll get his own, I hate to say voice because he's got a voice already, but he'll get his own style. People already want to compare him to Greg Papa's, right? You can't do that. You have to give him, or Bill King, you have to give him time to develop that, okay? I think just like if you had a rookie quarterback, although he's not a rookie, he's a very seasoned broadcaster, by the way. You have to give him time to work into the Raiders, to find his niche. And everybody wants a call, right? We live in this time where everybody's got to have a shtick. And maybe he doesn't, maybe he does, but it's got to come naturally. When we just lost Vin Scully, the best ever at baseball, no question. And, he didn't have that. It was just a style, and it took him time to get it. So give Jason some time, and I think you're going to like him. And I think it's refreshing to me to hear a young voice, Mo.
Yeah, and I have a parallel to this. I have a personal story, actually. I remember my first article on Bleacher Report writing Raiders content. And I was critical of the Raiders, and I basically said they need to straighten out their instability in their defense at the time. This is 2014, I believe. And fans railed on me. They like, who's this guy criticizing the Raiders? What are you talking about? And people, I got emails and messages, and people just did not want me on the beat. And it took a while for people to get used to my style of writing. I was very direct. I could be very critical, and I stuck it out. And eventually, and here I am with Scott Gobranson talking to you guys. And I'm not saying everyone loves me now, but I have a lot more people who are on board with me than they were back then.
So you're with me. So what went wrong?
I mean, hey,
Hey, I'm self-deprecating.
I'm still on the airways, but the point is, like, sometimes when a new person comes on, it's hard because you're not used to their style, their delivery, or anything about them. So, as Scott said, just give him a chance. Maybe he grows on you, maybe not.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, when I started covering the Raiders back in 17 and then going into 18 in a podcast and radio, unfortunately, I had a former friend who had pictures of me in Charger jerseys and then was talking about how I used to be a Charger fan, even though I was very clear about it up front, right? And so Raider fans at first, some of them, and I'm sure some of them stopped listening and never listened again, and that's fine too. But some of them, oh, you're a Charger fan, and then over time, they listened and they said, okay, you know what? He's got good guests on. He's got good co-hosts. Occasionally, I've had some bad ones, but he's also good ones. And he's also bringing on good stuff. And he's covering the Raiders objectively. Yeah, I'm not a fanboy, but I cover objectively. And so over time, some people I convince, some people you never convince. And so some people will never like Jason Horowitz because he's not Greg Papa or he's not Bill King, depending how old you are. And so I get that, but you're right, Mo. We all, as professionals, no matter what you do, when you switch gears and you do something new or you cover a new team, especially in the media, it takes time. And so I think he's going to be fine. He's going to find his own voice. He's got Lincoln Kennedy next to him to give him the Raider knowledge, which I think is very big. But it's time for that next generation to take over and take the reins in the booth. You're seeing it across the league with a lot of teams. You're seeing it in baseball. You're seeing it in the NBA, right, Mo? I don't watch the NBA, but I know you do. But I know the broadcasters and I know how young it's getting. And that's a very good thing for everybody. And I think for Raider Nation, you'll get used to them and you'll come to appreciate them.
Yeah, just got to give it some time. Unlike me and Midship Ice Cream, no matter how many times I try, I will hate it. It will never grow on me. But something like, Horowitz on the radio, it could grow on you eventually.
Although I have to tell you, my favorite ice cream makes me feel like I'm 90 and you can't find it anywhere. Have you ever had Spumoni?
Spumoni ice cream?
You don't know what it is, do you?
I have no idea what that is.
my paisans, my Italian buddies out there will know what it is. It is ice cream. Do you like Neapolitan ice cream? Or is that not your thing? Chocolate,
not
strawberry, vanilla? No.
Not my thing.
Well, Spumoni.
I don't hate it though.
Spumoni is like that. It's chocolate, it's cherry, and it's pistachio.
See, that wouldn't work for me because I'm not a big fan I don't like chocolate ice cream.
Okay.
I don't.
That's fair.
I like chocolate everything else. I don't like chocolate ice cream. Cherry ice cream.
I thought you might like it because I know on holidays, your family, because we've talked about it over the years on the show as when you were a guest and then, of course, as a host with me about your rainbow cake on holidays. But it doesn't, that's not different flavors. That's just rainbow cake.
Right.
It doesn't have chocolate icing?
It does have chocolate icing, but it's just, to me, it's not a parallel there.
No, not the chocolate ice cream, different flavor. Yeah, it's different.
Right. So it's a little different. I
understand that.
But you're absolutely right. Maybe I'll have to try it, see how I feel about it, because I've never tried it. So I like to try things before I, slander
That's okay.
it.
But
maybe I'll try it.
Peanut butter chocolate ice cream? No.
The chocolate thing is, I don't like chocolate donuts and I don't like chocolate ice cream.
Okay, that's fair. No, that's good. I mean, I get that. My wife is the same way. I used to, when we were first married, she would get me birthday cake. Oh, thank you. And then I cut into it and it would be yellow. And I'm like, oh, I wanted chocolate cake. No, I like yellow cake now. I actually like it better now than I do like chocolate cake. But when I was younger, I was all about the chocolate cake. Right. So it took time though for me, because to your point, I tried something different. In this case, my wife was going to make me sleep on the couch. No, she was going to, she got me into different things. So I get it. So we're on the same page on that one, but we'll try it. I'm going to have to just fly to New York and just buy a bunch of ice cream and see. We'll do a video.
Viewers,
ice cream.
I know. Viewers, if you want to send ice cream for me to try on air, I'm completely open to that. Except for if it's mint chip, I'll send it back. But.
Are you against all chip ice creams or just mint chip?
Just mint chip.
Okay, because in Cincinnati, there's a place called Grader's Ice Cream. It's unbelievable. I'm going to send you some. Raspberry chip. You like raspberry?
I'll try it. I've
Okay.
never
You'll
tried
like it.
raspberry ice cream, but I'll try it.
I'm not a raspberry guy. And then I went to the Graders here in Cincinnati, and my wife got it, and I'm like, I'll try it. It's really good. I'm like, raspberry. So I tried it, and I'm like, holy crap, this is good. So yeah, you never know until you try.
So I sense a running theme here, Scott. Once you're married, your taste buds change with the help of your wife.
That can be true. That can be true. And now it took me a few years to break my wife in because she didn't know how to cook. When I asked my mother-in-law and father-in-law permission, because the traditional Hispanic family, when I asked them, her mother started crying and hugged me. I'm sorry. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you sorry for? What don't I know? And she said, I didn't teach her how to cook. I didn't teach her how to iron shirts. And I'm like, and I kind of chuckled inside, and I'm like, it's like 1995. Women don't have to do that stuff all the time. So anyway, but yes, when you get married, because you're two different people, right? You like different things, but then you get each other, you coerce each other to try things, and then you realize, oh, it's not so bad. So that's the great thing about relationships, at least in
ladies, I am who I am. Don't try to change me. All right. Mint chocolate chip will never be my thing. Chocolate ice cream will never be my thing, no matter how hard you try. That's a line that I will never cross over.
Yes. I even have one of my sons, the kid, chocolate ice cream. He's like, vanilla. But that's his personality. Like, sky is blue. No, it's yellow. So he's always counter to everything else, but he eats vanilla. And it's like, man, a kid, vanilla ice cream for a kid. Kind of, as an adult, I like it more just because it's subtle. But hold on. All right, so we talked about ice cream too long. Anyway, listen, Raider Nation, this was great. Our first podcast, our first listener Q&A podcast. So thank you for joining us. Keep the questions coming in. They're awesome, and I know we'll have some more probably coming up after Sunday's game, which is just 2 days away as we come to you on Friday. So make sure you send them in to mail@silverandblacktoday.com. mail@silverandblacktoday.com. Make sure you put your name and your address, because we're going to send everybody a sticker, a show sticker. We want to see you also, when you take that sticker, where you put it in a clean place that's family friendly, by the way. Unless you're just sending him DM to Mo. No, just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. We'll get some guy sending stuff, and we don't want that.
You'll get blocked immediately for that. Forever.
But put the sticker in a clean place, and then tweet out the picture and tag all of us in it. But we also send one question a week. We will send a t-shirt, okay, as well, and we'll do that. So we got to pick a winner this week. There was Jesse in Kentucky with the linebacker question. There was Dre in the Bay Area about Darren Waller. There was Rick in LA about the defensive front. And there was Corporal Raider in Kuwait, Hua, which I'm not sure if we can send a t-shirt to Kuwait, but we'll do our best. You probably have a stateside address. And then Chris in Salt Lake, who likes mint chip ice cream. Did I just sink his chances?
You definitely did. That is reprehensible.
What do you think? I'm thinking I my vote, I'm going to let you decide. You're the swing vote, Mo. So if you agree with me, great. If you don't, if you have a different view, we'll go with yours. I'm going to pick Rick in LA around the defensive front.
Yeah, that was Rick in LA who had the question about who's going to provide pressure in the middle.
That's correct.
Yeah, I picked him simply because the Raiders obviously share his thought. Again, I brought up, they brought in Danny Shelton for a reason. So they obviously, not that they have concerns, but they feel like they need some depth there. So I think that's a great question.
It was. So Rick, congratulations. We are going to send you a sticker and the t-shirt. So when you get the t-shirt, Rick, make sure you take a picture of it. I know you're on Twitter because you've contacted me before. Make sure you post a picture of yourself in the t-shirt as well. So we appreciate that. Yes, dogs are allowed to wear the t-shirt. I got a question about that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Go ahead. So go ahead and do that. But Rick, congratulations on that. To Jesse, Dre, Corporal Raider, and Chris, thank you again, guys. Your sticker will be on the way as well. So we certainly appreciate it. That's going to wrap up this fun Friday mailbag question and answer session with Mo and I. We appreciate it. Mo, we will talk to you next Sunday night after the game.
Yes, and we'll be back with Murph, so the three of us will break it all down for you. Instant reactions. I'm sure you want to tune in for that.
Absolutely. All right. For Momo and I am Scott Brances. Do us a favor again. I know I remind you all the time, but we really need you to do it. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening to us on audio, do it wherever you get your podcast. We're happy wherever you get it. Thank you for that. I would also recommend the free Odyssey app. You can listen to not only great podcasts from all over the NFL and Major League Baseball, but you can also listen to your favorite Odyssey sports station wherever you may be in the country. So go ahead and do that. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe and the notifications bell. If you hit the notifications bell, you will get notified every time a new show drops. So thank you for that. For Mo, I am Scott Branson. This has been Silver and Black Today, an Odyssey original podcast. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your Friday night, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.